Hello and welcome to another World of Warplanes review with me, Sir 10 Death. We recently reviewed the Bristol Bulldog Tier 2 British plane, so today we're following on further down the tech tree and having a look at the next one, the Tier 3 Bristol Type 133, and discussing whether it's good, bad or indifferent. As ever, there will be some replay footage going on in the background of myself using this plane, and just really seeing what it does well, what it doesn't do so well, whether we would recommend getting it or not. So, first thing worth noting about this plane, then, as I've already mentioned, it's Tier 3, so you can get to it quite quickly and quite easily because you don't have to do a lot of work to grind through the first couple of tiers and beyond to Tier 3 and then start enjoying the game in a bit more depth. So let's have a look at this plane then. Well, it's a British fighter. It has got 160 hit points, which is pretty nice actually. For Tier 3, that's quite respectable. We can live with that. That's workable. We can afford to take a few hits, and as long as we don't sit with something parked behind us for a prolonged period of time, we'll do okay. Even if something does get behind us, we ought to have no major problems shrugging it off, because the second thing worth noting about the 133 is that it's got a high maneuverability rating. It's got a maneuverability rating of over 1,000, a little over 1,000, so it's capable of quite easily twisting and turning and getting into trouble or getting out of trouble just as effectively. So you can see it's particularly adept at getting in behind people and just going to work on them. Here's a guy here who's finished him off quite well. We've already done almost 1,000 combat points, only been in the game a minute or so. And yeah, so we're going off, we've taken one cap point, we're going off to look for the other one. The way I tend to play this game is I tend to obviously get to the first cap, help the team get one taken, and then combination depending upon the map of going off to try and press to take a second one or to work heavily to defend the first one. It's ought to be easily understood, but often isn't by players, that the role of a fighter is to be more defensive than offensive. It's to keep the enemy at bay. Once you've taken a sector and you've got it and it's earning you points on the top of the screen, you need to keep that. The temptation is to go up here chasing bombers. Now, I am myself trying to do this purely because there's nothing else to do at the time. If there's a better target of choice, that's what I'd be going for. Bombers are nice to get rid of, but they really ought to be left to those high-level planes such as heavy fighters. Most fighters at this tier anyway can't reach the altitude effectively enough to do a good job on the bombers. I am trying to raise my altitude anyway because I prefer to shoot from above, to come down on top of people. But as a general rule, chasing bombers with fighters is a little bit of a non-starter. Most bombers are pretty fast moving anyway. I'm trying to do it because there's nothing else to go for at the moment, but I'll rapidly change my plan on that. So yeah, I mentioned the maneuverability is high, its controllability is high as well. Its typical speed is a little shy of 400, which is decent, it's respectable. So now we've seen some other planes, a ground attack aircraft coming in here. These are food and drink to something like the 133. Now, this one's already taken heavy damage anyway. But these are big, slow-moving planes, and for something like this that can get in behind them, you can just shoot lumps off them quickly and easily. At the minute, this game's fairly even. Well, actually, the enemy are slightly ahead at the moment, but not massively so. So, I'm trying to just catch up here with this fighter and go to town on him. Now, that's worth mentioning those guns. The guns on this, well, they're I've only got the stock guns of this. I've only just got the 133 after using the Bulldog last week, and the stock guns has got two .303s. Now that's actually pretty poor, but they are pretty fast firing. They shoot 600 rounds a minute. They've got a range of 440 meters, which is normal for this sort of tier. And as you can see, at this level, they can still do the job. Once you upgrade them, you can have 4 .303 caliber guns, which is quite nice. Now here's an example again of getting in behind an attack aircraft and seeing what we can do. We can speed up, use the boost to get behind them, because most attack aircraft are pretty slow at this tier anyway, and just try and catch up to him and hopefully stop him doing any major damage. If you let these aircraft get to your sectors and capture them, they can do horrendous amounts of damage. Now we've got them in our sights, we can just start plugging away at them, and even though the guns are not fantastic, as long as I keep them in the sights, I can just take all day. It takes as long as it takes to take them out of there. Okay, so we've done just over 2,000 combat points, and so far things are going pretty well. As a general rule, the United Kingdom fighter tech tree line are quite well liked amongst the community. I mentioned last week the Bulldog's a great little plane. A lot of people like the Bulldog at tier 2, and there are a number of people who are very experienced players that I know who still... Oh, I upset that ground attack aircraft pilot, by the way. He sent me a bit of abuse in chat. He does it again later on if memory serves. Yeah, they're quite well liked because they are a nice combination of manoeuvrability, speed and gun ability. Now I'm doing the part of the game that I really enjoy, which is just getting in amongst it, in the thick of it, mixing it up. At the minute the enemy are still ahead. I personally am having a pretty good game in this. I don't think I've done spectacularly well so far, but compared to the other members of the team, which will be, of course, include some bots, quite well. And, oh look, here's the attack aircraft guy coming again. Now this time, I've seen him coming in quite early on. He's obviously trying to do what his role is, which is get here and start doing some bombing and some shooting up the ground targets. He's on full hit points at the moment. Now, I can manage to take a little bit off him, but because of the manoeuvrability of this, I've deliberately just turned out to drop in behind him, because where I really want to be is here, right on his tail. Now, I'll be hitting the S key now to try and slow myself down. I'm actually still gaining on him anyway, but as long as I can slow myself down, you can see my speed dropping, so I can just almost match his speed. I can just stay here all day long and finish him off. Puts me on just over 4,000 combat points and gives us air superiority. So all of a sudden this game's turned around now. Now I'm not taking personal credit for that, but I feel that I have done my part so far. And there's the ground attack guy again, having a little bit of a go at me. He obviously does not like being shot down. I suppose the message to learn here is if you're going to use ground attack aircraft, don't go to a place where there are lots of fighters flying around, because they will finish you off. This is a really short game, it's coming to an end already. I've mentioned about the hit points, the manoeuvrability, the guns being okay. So would I recommend playing it? Absolutely, yes. It's just a continuation really of the Bulldog. It's quite quick, it's quite manoeuvrable, it's quite good guns, it's quite good fun. And since the game's always about playing for fun, then yeah, I would say this is not a bad one to play. You're just seeing the end credits going through there, and having a look back in the hangar at what we managed to do with this. Yeah, we did pretty well there. We've got a little over 5,000 combat points. Not a stunning game, 28,000 credits. It's a very average game. There are a lot of people who would have played this better than me, but I enjoyed it. I quite like it, and I would recommend trying out the British fighter line down the tech tree if you haven't already, because so far I'm enjoying the Bulldog. I'm enjoying this. I've actually now moved on to the following plane, which is the Bristol 146, and so far I'm enjoying that as well. As ever, I'll keep the videos coming. I hope you've enjoyed them. Please do like, share and subscribe, and if you've got any comments, then please do put them down below and I'll get back to you if I can. Thanks very much. Goodbye.